Shalom, 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 Israel, giving no praise to Yahweh, by Shemel, Shabbat, Shem, Chakadash, the honest to the apostles, elders, GMS, who say, teach to Yakim out there, pushing his word and truth and sincerity, risking your freedom and your life to do so, more so now than ever before, for we are close to the end. Back with another video, June 25th, 2026, about signs of the times and what's going on in the world right now. For the past couple of months, Iran, Israel, America have been at war, which is according to prophecy is supposed to happen. And things are going to only get more intense here on out, because this is the day that, the Lord is about to essentially bring about the end, man. Bring about World War III. Joel the third chapter and a plethora of other prophecies. But anyways, so the war has been pretty hot, and it's subsided a little bit, because to my knowledge, they're conjuring up a peace treaty. One of the things that is on the edge of breaking it is the fact that the small hatters keep attacking Lebanon, and Iran is completely against it. All right, and according to the peace treaty, the small hats are not allowed to attack Lebanon, but they're gonna do it anyway. So let's read this article, because people think that everything cooled down, gas prices gonna fall, go back to quote unquote normal, which was $3.25, $3.50. I think it was about a year ago. Regular unleaded was like $3.25, but no, that's not so, and we're gonna get that. So this says oil prices fall as tankers exit Strait of Hormuz. And it says oil prices extended their decline on Thursday, edging closer to pre-war levels as stranded tankers exited the Strait of Hormuz following an initial accord to end the U.S.-Israeli war, with Iran easing supply concerns. Now, just because the strait, quote-unquote, opened up doesn't mean that the effects won't be felt, because the strait was closed for, I believe, 3 months, and they said that slowed down the production of food, because fertilizer comes from the oil out of the Strait of Hormuz, and a plethora of other things. This really, really crippled the economy. And although you might not feel it so much in America, there's plenty of places in the world that already feel effects of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. All right, so just because it opened up now doesn't mean it's gonna not still do damage. It says prompt month Brent crude futures for August delivery fell 40 cents, or 0.54%, to 73.34 a barrel as of 00:04 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate fell 27 cents, or 0.38%, to $70.07 a barrel. August Brent was trading lower than September, which was priced at 73.59, signaling ample short-term supply. So it says, Salakia. Let's read on. Let's jump down. It says the speed of this decline has caught plenty off guard, as market price is much faster in price in a much faster return of Middle Eastern barrels than most had anticipated just a fortnight ago. Brent had fallen more than $3 on Wednesday as supply concerns eased and WTI's West Texas Intermediate settled down nearly $3. U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright told a forum on Wednesday that flows through the Strait of Hormuz were closed to what they were before the start of the Iran war, saying at least 20 million barrels had exited the strait in the last 24 hours. He added a return to complete normalcy would take a few weeks because the strait needs to be demined. And they laid down mines. They laid down mines. But the war ain't over. The war ain't over because the small hats have an agenda, and really the Most High Yahweh Shema Shah has an agenda, which is to bring about the destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America. Also, destruction of Jerusalem, that whole landmass over there. Wipe it clean because you have to start all over fresh with the real children of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So it says, so ultimately, this is a quote unquote, they settled down, but it's not gonna end here. Babylon is not gonna accept defeat. Not to mention, Iran is gonna put a toll on the Strait of Hormuz. People had to pay a toll to use it, even though prior to the war breaking out, there was no toll. And then I think America has to release $50 billion in frozen assets to Iran. So it's not gonna happen. The war's gonna brew back up. And mark my words, the brother said, I said it all through the spirit. It's gonna brew up again. Let's get a scripture because we've been rambling. I was rambling a little long. 1 Thessalonians 5:1. It said, "But of the time and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Right. So the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night. All right. And why is it making comparison to the thief in the night? Is because it's going to be an element of surprise. For us, it's not going to be a surprise, as the scriptures say. We watch. So we watch for signs. Most people are not watching news media. They might find it depressing. They might, just not necessarily care about what's going on in the world. But we, the prophets of GMS, more specifically, and GMS affiliates, we watch for the prophecies. We watch for the signs and link them up with scriptures to know exactly what time we're in. So it's not going to catch us like a thief in the night. We're up watching for the thief, or, not necessarily a thief, but the event that's going to lead up to the second return of the Lord and our salvation. But it's going to be a thief in the night to the people of the world because, the people of the world don't know the end of what's coming. They don't know, nuclear war, although we've been saying it for years. They don't know. They might not pay, or they might not think it's possible. They think it's a joke. All right, so it's going to come as thief in the night to them. For when they should say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So when they should say peace and safety, sudden destruction. The reason why I bring up the scriptures is because, people see gas prices fall. It's a sigh of relief. Finally, things are going to get back to normal. They say peace and safety. America, we're pulling out of there. We're calling the truth with Iran. Cool, no more war. When they should say peace and safety, and then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they should not escape. Right, and just like, when women go through them contractions, she's pregnant. I think it's in the fourth trimester where she's like, the baby's almost here. The contractions get more severe, and it stops. And she's like, she takes a deep breath, finally I feel normal again. But the baby ain't delivered yet. So you know the pain is gonna come back. And sure enough, when she least expected and she finally get the break, she's not cramping, she's not feeling the kicking. Boom, the baby go start kicking even harder. More severe than it did prior to, the break that it took. That's how it's gonna happen with the prophecy. So although we have a gap in between where it seems like, okay, cool, gas prices are down, things are back to normal, we got a deal. The small hats ain't gonna attack Lebanon, ain't gonna attack Iran again. Boom, sudden destruction. War's back on, baby. And that's exactly what's gonna happen. All right? Exactly what's gonna happen. America might not break this truth. More than likely they're not. But the small hats will. Jeremiah 50:45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he have proposed against the land of Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock should draw them out. Surely he should make their habitation desolate with them. And the least of the flock is talking about the small hats. He gonna draw America out to fight. And then things are going to get so severe, Russia and China is going to get involved. And, obviously NATO is going to join in the fight, have to, Article 5, not only to defend America, but to protect themselves, because Russia is going to utilize America's active war to start taking over lands in that area, which is all NATO countries, all right? Poland, Switzerland, France, so it's going to be a global conflict. And then, all other nations are going to get involved: Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, South Korea. It's going to be a whole global conflict, all right? And we hoping to be protected from that because it's going to affect all of us. So, like I said, gas prices is down right now. People are assuming that we're at a peace, and we might have, quote unquote, stability for the next couple of months. We don't know. Just depends on how, the Lord plays it. But we know that, the tables are churning, things are speeding up, time is flying. So we have to be close. This might be the last. Well, we don't know, because we already halfway in the year, and at times just flew. We just remember having the Passover 4 or 5 months ago. So 4 months ago. So, time is flying, man. And things are going to get heated very soon. So with that, I want to give a praise to Yahweh Shemel. Shabbat Shem Kagadas. The ones to the apostles, the elders, the Jimas, who else I teach you. I can say next time. Shalom.